Hey everybody, I hope everybody is well. Today, let's do a 3D project. How about this cute bag? Let's make this. We can do a fold over top, or we can fold the top in. Perfect for Valentine's Day coming up. You put some little treats in there. But I want to show you that this bag fits my little bow. Pardon my little bow. It's having a bad day up here. To fix that. This bag, you can put cards in, cards with envelopes, and use it as a gift bag. It fits 4 A2 sized cards. Look at that. Aren't these pretty? This is Gorgeous Posies. We're not going to use this one today, but oh my gosh, I love it. That's Gorgeous Posies in the background, and this is the fern from Forever Fern, the dies that go with Forever Fern. I bought that whole bundle for that one die. Isn't that how it goes sometimes? Little envelopes, so you can just make the little bag. I don't know if you can see. Got some scrunchie down there. And you can just put your envelopes here. So I kind of just put the envelopes in the back half here, and then put the cards in the front. And depending on how tight you make your bag, I've got too much scrunchie in this one, but let me see if it's going to fall out. Yeah, the cards will come out. If you do this without so much scrunchie in the bottom and pinch the top, the cards won't come out. They'll stay in there. So you really don't need a closure at the top unless you would like to have one. The bow is decorative. But anyway, fun. I thought we would use this cute, how cute is this snail paper? I thought we would use some of this snail paper, make a little note card. Get out. Isn't that cute? And look very closely. The little, oh, sorry. It's a little embellishment. The little heart stickies that are in the January, June mini. Okay, let's do this. It's not difficult at all. It's just following directions. If you are in Snap Club with me, you will have this pattern to follow. I've also got the directions written up, so down in the description I'll give you a link where you can get to these directions. But like I said, it's not difficult. I'm not into doing things that are difficult anymore. So we will just, let's put this together. Okay, for starters, you will need a 12 by 12 sheet of any of your designer papers, anything that makes you happy. It's a good way to use some of those papers up. You need to cut your paper to 9.5 inches by 12. Take care to know where your pattern is. Okay, so that looks crooked, but I think it's okay. Let me make sure. Did I cut that crooked? Because sometimes that's just how I roll. No, it looks straight. Okay. Okay. So I've got 12 inches here, 9.5 inches here. Okay. Now I need to do some scoring. Okay. And like I said, don't feel like you have to write everything down. I will put in the description the details. So for now, let's just put the bag together and you will have access to all of the details on putting it together. Okay. So my first score line is going to be at 1 1/8 inches. Okay. I've got the 12-inch side across the top. Let me back up right there. Okay. I've got the 12-inch side across the 12-inch edge across the top. Okay. I'm going to make 4 score lines. The first one is at 1 1/8 inches. And then I'm going to slide over to 5 3/4 inches. Make my score line. I'm going to go to 6 7/8 inches. Make my score line. I realize I'm going out of the video here. Just hang with me. And then 11.5 inches. Okay. So those are the 4 score lines that I make with the 12-inch edge across the top. Okay, so now I'm going to turn my paper. I've got the 1/2 inch margin, at the top. Okay, so this is my 9.5 inches with the 1/2 inch margin. I'm only making 2 score lines here. I'm going to score at 1.5. And then I'm going to score at 8 3/8 inches. Okay. And that's all of the scoring. Okay. That is all of the scoring that we will need to do. All right. Now it's time to burnish and cut. So very quickly, I'm just going to go through here and just simply begin folding my edges and folding my score lines and burnishing. The paper to give me some mobility. Okay. Oh, and I didn't do this top. Yes, I did. Okay. Okay, so now we need to cut. It's very important that you keep this 1/2 inch margin to the right side. Okay, the 1/2 inch margin to the right side. Okay. In this 1/2 inch margin, we will make our first cuts. I'm going to cut away the top and bottom rectangles. Okay. Super easy peasy. Okay. That leaves me this center flap. Okay. So let me go ahead and just cut V notches into this flap to make it easier once I add the adhesive. There are only 2 flaps on this bag where we will make the notches. Okay, just cut that straight there. Okay. So now we have our side flap here, and I do try to make sure it's just as even as I can get it to be, but it doesn't you're not going to see it, so just make yourself happy there. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is in this 1.5 inch top row, it's extremely important that you have your 1.5 inch row at the top. So you want to check your design pattern, okay? Make sure your design is right side up. This is the front of your box. This is the top, this is the bottom, okay? So make sure your design is facing the correct direction. Okay, we're just going to make one cut in this top row, and it's going to be the third score line. So I'm going to count over 1, 2, here's my third score line in this top 1.5 inch row. Just going to cut that score line like that. Okay, that's it. So now I've got dancing pants. Okay, so I've got my flap on the right. I've got my third score line in the top row cut. Okay, so now I need to come down here to the bottom row. Again, I've got 3 score lines. In the bottom row, this should be 1 1/8. This is very important. This row is 1 1/8. This column is 1 1/8. And this left column is 1 1/8. It's important that these 3 match up. Okay? All right. Now I'm going to just simply take my 3 score lines here, and I'm going to cut all 3. That's different than how we did the top. 2 and 3. Okay, now we've got 1 center flap here on the right, and I said we were going to have 2. This flap here, we're going to cut our V notches into. It's the only other flap that we need to do V's. Don't spend your time doing V's everywhere else. It's not necessary. Okay, do your V. This is the bottom of your box, and this is the last flap you will close. Just try to keep your V notches as even as you can. But like I said, it's the bottom of the box, and you won't see it too terribly much. That looks about even. Okay. Okay, that's all the cutting that we need to do. That's all the cutting we need to do. So now it is time to add our adhesive and assemble our box. It's important to remember to keep this flap, this 1/2 inch margin flap, to your right. Okay. Now the first thing we're going to deal with is our top fold over here. There are 2 ways that you can handle this top flap. Okay, you can, if you would like, fold it out, which gives you this design piece at the top. Okay, it allows you to show off the other side of your design papers. Okay, but you may not want this this fold over flap at the top, and if you don't, that's fine. Just simply fold the flap in. Okay, so with the flap, without the flap. Okay, the box is the same size. You just have to make a decision about that design element. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to go ahead and fold these flaps forward, which will give me that column at the top. Okay, so I need to add my adhesive. I'm using the seal. Remember, on the seal, put your 2 fingers here. It's important that you hold this straight up. Okay, don't do anything else. Hold it straight up. If you don't, it jams underneath here. So just roll your adhesive across the top here, all the way across the top. And then you will also want to do just these outside edges here. Okay. So I've just done across the top and then just down the sides, just in this 1/2 inch margin. Oops, I got some adhesive on my paper here, which is not a big deal. It's just my bag's just going to stick to it. Okay, and then I just simply, I fold these over and burnish. Okay. Okay. All right. Now we need to attach this flap to this side. Okay. Now I need to talk about this flap here for just a minute. Okay. You're going to add your adhesive on the top, and then what you're going to do on the top of this flap all the way down, you're going to grab the right side of the box with your left hand, okay? And then you're going to bring this right edge of the box around, and it's extremely important that you match these to these edges up here. This front flap with this back flap, okay? Now it is the back of the box, so if it doesn't go together just perfectly, we're gonna put a ribbon on it. But I know there are other ways to close this up, but you want to make sure that those match perfectly, okay? And that will keep your box looking sharp. So let me run my adhesive, okay, all the way down that flap. Okay, holding the right edge of the box with my left hand, I'm going to do my X, okay? I'm gonna grab this edge of the box and I'm gonna bring it around, and I'm going to match these two edges up. As perfectly as I can. It's a little bit hard to do that and keep my head out of the way. Okay, match those up as perfectly as you can. I'm a little off right here, but I think that's the way I cut that because I'm even at the top. Okay, all right, and then go ahead and just put the rest of the box down. I think I'm off on a measurement here because my box is a little cattywampus. Okay, and then just take your bone folder and burnish your bag flat. Okay. Okay. How cute is that? Okay. And then here we go. Okay. So now we just have to put the bottom of the box together. Okay. So I'm going to turn this upside down. Okay. The flap that we cut the V's in is the front of your box. Okay. So the flaps without the V notches, that's the back of your box. And this pattern is organized in a way that these slits that we had to make in the top and the edge matching up, those will be in the back of your box. Okay, and the front of your box will have clean edges. Okay, so we're just going to turn this on its top side. We're going to fold in our side flaps, fold in our back flap. Okay, lay this down. You should now have your V flap. Run your adhesive across the flap, and then just simply close your box up. Okay. Look at that. Okay, look. I keep calling it a box. Close your bag up. Look at that. You should not have hangover here. If you happen to have hangover, just just take your scissors and nip it off. But like I said, there shouldn't be, I worked out the pattern enough, you shouldn't have any leftover. So then just simply pinch in the top of your box. I don't think you have to take that all the way down. Just pinch it in like that. Okay. Now, if you want to, you could punch a hole in here and put ribbon. You could just put a clip on the top, wrap a bow around the outside. I'm just fine leaving this one like this. If you pinch it, it kind of stays closed. Okay. Oh my goodness, how cute is this? How cute is this? Okay. Okay, if we want to put a ribbon around the outside, just get a ribbon. This one's about 26 inches long, okay? And just, I got red to match this box. If you have the snail bundle, then some twine comes with that. You've got pink and white twine comes with that. This red is the braided trim from the holiday catalog. So you'll have to see if you have some in your hiding in your craft rooms. If you have a roll of that, the red looks lovely with this snail paper. Or just get into your craft room and get some ribbon out that matches. Curry ribbon would be pretty too. Okay, put your ribbon across the top. Now, we need a little note to go with our gift bag. I mean, how cute. Oh my goodness. And so easy. Once you have the pattern, it's super easy peasy to cut several at one time and just put those together. Okay, let's make a little note that we can hang on our ribbon here, or we can put it in our card. Yeah, oh, look at that. Oh my goodness. These little gastropods are cute. Okay, so to make this note, all you have to do, I've forgotten what my outside measurements were. Yikes-a-rama. Okay. Okay. To make the scalloped edge, I just took my red paper, scored it, folded it in half, and then I used my die cut machine. I used this largest stitched rectangle from Stitch So Sweetly. So all I did was take my folded piece of paper. It's going to be larger, of course. Lay this in here. Lay the die on your paper. You will need to use some washi tape. You can see where I used it there. You want to match up this edge with this edge, but don't let them cross. Okay, so I just set that in my, I washi taped it down, set the die on my cardstock like this, and ran it through my die cut machine, and that gave me this note card. Now, you can use any scalloped die that you have. You don't even have to use a die, okay? You can just cut the paper down like this, okay? There's nothing to say that you have to run that through the die cut machine. I just thought the scallops would be cute, okay? Make cute note cards with that, okay? But like I said, if you have a die cut machine and you want to run it through, the trick is to leave one edge out of the die cut, out of the cutting edge of the die. Okay, so I would run it through like that with this edge showing, except I would run it face down. Okay, and then to get the pink piece here, I just used the stitched rectangles. Okay, so I just used this stitched rectangles, and I cut this out in, I think that's petal pink. Actually, it might be Blushing Bride. Yikes, I forgot which pink it is. I think it's Blushing Bride. Okay, I just cut one of these stitched rectangles out. Okay, this stitched rectangle is the one that it's approximately 2 3/4 by 4 1/8. I think it's about the third largest, but I'm not, don't quote me on that. Okay, and then it will hang over your note just a little bit. You'll have just a hair hanging over. Okay, so just cut that 1/4 inch. Just cut that 1/4 inch off. Just slice it off. Okay, and so then you will have your sweet note card. We'll have our panel piece here. So we have lots, if you're using your die cuts, you'll have lots of stitching here, which is very pretty. We need, out of your snail paper, cut out some of your snails out of one of the DSP, one of the design papers has, look at these guys. So just get those cut out. And let's see, and then we need to do some stamping. Finally doing some stamping. Okay, from the Snailed It stamp set, we're going to use this Happy Mail and this little heart. And then you will also need your rectangle postage stamp. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp the Happy Mail enclosed. I'm using real red ink. Oh, it's a little goopy. Let me try one more, but I think it's gonna be okay. Just a little. I didn't think that I re-inked this. Maybe I did. That one's a little better, not quite as goopy. Remember, it will dry back just a little bit, I think. Oh, and I'm gonna have to use that one more time, but it's okay. Okay, let me dry that. I don't know why that was kind of goopy like that. See how this one's much lighter? I wonder if I use Poppy. I bet I use Poppy ink for that because that's much darker. I bet I use Poppy ink. That would be me. I bet I use Poppy ink because I think we got Poppy ink in Paper Pumpkin this time. And I bet I had that out and I bet I used it. Okay. And then just line this up in your postage stamp punch. Okay. And then let's put our little card together. Remember, hold this up. Okay. And then you just want to, yikes. Trying to do this without sticking my head right up on top of it. Okay, hopefully it's cut properly. Yeah, it is. Okay. I probably could have done that up just a little bit more, but that's okay. Okay, and then we'll take our just put that here. Then add some seal to our gastropod. He's so cute. Okay, and then I'll just kind of set him straight like that. Okay, and then I know I still need to step the little heart. What do I have going on here? Oh, yeah, remember these were on the clearance rack. These match this paper perfectly. What are these called? All the trimmings. Look at those stars. Cute. So if you got that one, you can use that with your snail paper. Here's my little heart. I don't know where my... Take your pick tool is missing in action somewhere. Okay, let me see if I can just set this down on here. I never know if I bring the adhesive up with it, but I think I did. Hopefully it did. Look at how that sits there. What? Look how perfect that is. Okay, and we need another heart. We need another heart. This little heart stamp is also in your Snailed It stamp set. Okay. I feel like I don't want extra ink. I don't know if it's gonna pop down or not, but I don't want that on my card. Okay. Oh. Cuteness. Cuteness. And I've got ink on my fingers, so I don't want to touch anything. But how fabulous is that? Okay, and so now you can just take your card. You can put a note on the inside. Did I put a note in here? Oh, looks like I cut some white paper out too. Same size as this one. You can do that or not. Be fun to write with a white gel pen on the inside too would be cute. Okay, and then you can either put this down in the box, or you can, let's do one without the without that top flap. Oh my goodness, there you go. Great gift bags. You can use them for Valentine's Day coming up, birthdays, celebrations. But the best part is it fits your A2 cards. So you could make 3 or 4 or 5 matching cards with envelopes, stuff them inside, put a nice note on the outside for somebody, and you have a great gift. Okay, enjoy. Bye.